or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hear me?
Yes, I can. And you started the recording.
Yes, so you can go ahead.
Good afternoon. You are joining Minnesota Communities Caring for Children and Minnesota Circle of Parents webinar, Engaging Parent Leadership with Lisa Deputy, who is the Director of Prevention Initiatives throughout the metro area. Throughout the broadcast, you will be able to raise your hand. If you look at your dashboard, you have to raise your hand by clicking it, and I will unmute you at that time. Otherwise, if you have questions throughout the broadcast, a little farther down on the dashboard, it's labeled questions, and that's where you can type your questions in, and we will get to them when we get them. All right, my name is Barb Sorum. I will be the moderator for today's webinar. And welcome, Lisa.
Well, thank you so much for giving me a help out here, Barb. I want to welcome the other attending. And what did you say her name was? Because I can't see it. Is it Miss Hammond?
Miss Hammond, yes. And we'd like to see your screen if you could.
I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see me?
I can see you, Lisa. I cannot see your screen yet.
Are you seeing it now?
No. Lisa, is it okay with you if I stop the recording?
Yes.
And start. Good afternoon. You are joining Minnesota Communities Caring for Children and Minnesota Circle of Parents webinar with Lisa Deputy. Lisa is the Director of Prevention Initiatives throughout the metro area in Minnesota. She will be presenting Engaging Parent Leadership. If you have questions, please refer to the dashboard from the webinar, and you should be able to see your hand. You should be able to raise your hand, and I will unmute you at that time and let you ask your question or comments. Also, if you have questions, you can type it in. A little farther down on the dashboard, it's marked questions. You can type that in, and I will see that and direct them toward Lisa. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to type them in, and I will get back to you. So with that, I'm turning it over to Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Well, thank you so much, Barb. And I'd just like to let everyone know that Barb is our regional director for our southern region of Minnesota. So thank you so much. I had wanted to talk about parent engagement for this quarterly call because I felt that it was very important to give some of our listeners and our participants some ideas and some strategies on how to involve parents. So I wanted to talk first about our quarterly calls. We've been doing our quarterly calls since May of 2017, and we will continue them out throughout this year. Roxy and I started out with the parent leadership conversation. Then we had another in September with Barb about parent education and our curriculum list. And we also had one in November with our regional director, Mary, and she talked about children with special need and or trauma. So today we're going to talk a little bit about engaging parents and the basic idea of partnership. So I wanted to talk about what makes that relationship work and what is that basic idea of partnership. So the basic idea of partnership is having that equal partner, and not in that traditional way, but we want practitioners to begin to change their perspective from that client provider relationship and look at it more as a partnership, as your partner. And so if we can just talk about and think about friendships and partnerships of our own. And I wanted us to talk a little bit about what makes those relationships work, or what makes that relationship work. And so, Barb, can we open it up for discussion, or can we, or would they have to type it in?
Miss Hammond has come back, and I'm not sure. I think you've joined by phone, and I'm going to unmute you so you can actually talk, excuse me, with Lisa. Okay, I unmuted you. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hi. Please tell me how to say your first name.
Hi. Thanks so much for coming back. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Isaaca, and I am part of Lisa's Circle of Parents facilitators. So, is there anything else you'd like to know?
Oh, I love your accent.
Hi, Isaaca. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate this. Unfortunately, right now it's only the three of us, but hopefully others are joining in. So I'm glad that you can join in on the conversation, because I didn't want to just do most of the talking. And so that's why we were talking about that basic premise, or that basic idea around partnership, and how we want to begin to encourage practitioners of changing their perspective from that client provider relationship, and think of it more as a partnership. And so I was saying, among us, if we think about some of the partnerships that we have, or some of the friendships that we have, what makes some of those relationships work?
Oh, I think like partnership is very important, and I think I always tell you, Lisa, that's what I like about the Circle of Parents sort of ethos and idea, and it takes away sort of the professionally led or professional doing things to people, and allowing people to have more control over their lives and how they want to run it, and you sort of being an advisor based, not even an advisor, because it just makes people experts of their own lives, basically. So I'm an expert. You can't come into my life and tell me how to run it, because you don't know what goes on in my day-to-day activities. So I think partnership is really important, and it will be vital if like professional services could adopt that model of working, even within a statutory sort of context.
Yes, very, very true. And so that's what makes that relationship so very important, is because one thing that helps that relationship work is that mutual respect. Mhm. We have respect for one another. Parents are heard in meaningful ways, right? And then we have that co-learning experience, or that shared learning experience that I often talk about, that just as you said, parents and families are the experts. So we can learn from each other. And a lot of times practitioners have the idea of steps and or they have initials behind their names that they know what's best and
Mm,
what's best practice. But we often
mm,
find that if we partner with parents, instead of looking at them as clients and that we're helping them as opposed to working together and helping each other. And so we
mm.
want to try to start identifying some of those elements of that successful collaboration. And I have a couple of handouts I'm going to pull up. Hope you guys can see them. Can you guys see the what I pulled up?
Yes, you want to make it full screen.
Okay.
And Isaka, I actually muted you just because I was having a hard time hearing Lisa, and we need to be able to hear Lisa, honey. So I'll unmute you in a little bit. Thank you.
Okay. So some of the elements of successful collaboration, again, is that mutual respect for each other's skills and knowledge. Because we're practitioners and it's our work, we have a lot of knowledge around it and some skills around it. But parents also have skills and knowledge that um, we can, like I said, have that co-learning experience where we can learn from each other to rear the best results or the best outcomes for that family. Honest and clear communication. We want to be front we want to be honest in front of with our clients, with our partners, all right, with our parent partners. We want to be have clear communication, um, and to understand communication, we want to be actively listening, right? Body language, um, paraphrasing. Sometimes cultural differences may mean different things in different languages. So we want to make sure that we're understanding and we're having that clear communication that is required to partnering with someone. And understanding and empathy, um, to understand someone's situation, environment, and to, if not, if you can't empathize, at least be sympathetic to their way of life, their culture, their way of living, their norms, their beliefs, right? Their values. Those are, that's another element within a successful collaboration. And then mutually agreeing upon goals. Let's come up with our goals together. Don't just tell me what I need to do, but ask me, right? What can we do to help my situation? And come up with goals that are agreed upon. Um, Oftentimes, practitioners come up with case plans, which is a goal for the family and the parents. And sometimes it's not exactly equitable to the family. And then a lot of times in situations, they don't sit down with the family to come up with this case plan or these goals. So we want to mutually agree upon some of the goals that we need to set for families and for parents. And then again, the open and two-way sharing of information. Again, that co-learning, that co-sharing, that shared leadership model. Be accessible and responsive and be responsiveness. Joint evaluation of progress. We oftentimes evaluate families and parents on the progress that they're making. But if we're partners, then I should be able to evaluate your progress and your help and you assessing my family's needs and working with and helping my family as well. An absence of labeling and blaming. This is so very, very important because oftentimes our biases, and we all have them, get in the way of working effectively with parents and with families. And so we have to um, um, get away from uh, having our biases affect the way that we work. And although we all have biases, it's just that when they begin to affect the way that you work with families and with parents, that's when we begin to get into trouble. Would anyone else like to add anything around the elements of a successful collaboration?
Isaka, I did unmute you again, so if you'd like to say anything or add anything.
No, I think Lisa's covered a lot of it, so I'll pass for now.
Okay. So we talked about, some of the things that make the relationship work. Talk about those elements of the successful collaboration. And I want to talk a little about the importance of partnering with families because um, sometimes it's a mandate or it's mandatory that you work with families. But we want to be encouraged to work with families even if a mandate didn't come down on us. We want parent involvement even if we're not mandated to have parent involvement. It is very important to partner with families and with parents. One reason why is because it yields better outcomes. When we partner with families and when we partner with parents, it benefits communities, it benefits programs, and it benefits agencies. So those are some of the reasons why it is so very, very important to partner with families and with parents. And we wanted to begin to create programs that support families and such as the Circle of Parents. That's why the Circle of Parents was initially started. It was as a support group for parents. So um, programs that support parents, some of the programs that support parents and some of the benefits is that um, it saves money. Intervention can get pretty expensive. So when we focus more on strengthening the families before they fall apart, that's about prevention. That is a huge benefit to having programs that support families and support parents. Staff and families work together uh, based on equality and respect. When we create programs that support families, these are some of the benefits and the strategies that comes behind supporting some of those families. I believe I have another handout that talks about the importance of involving parents and families. Are you guys seeing this pretty well?
Yes, thank you.
So it improves services for families. It provides opportunity to affect meaningful change, increases confidence and ability to affect this change. It makes providers accountable to families. A lot of times, families have to be accountable to their actions and their issues. However, providers need to be accountable as well. Just as I was saying with that evaluation piece. What if parents, the clients that we serve, was able to evaluate our services? What would they say? What type of grade would we get? So we need to make providers, more accountable to families and provide these opportunities to network with other families and other providers. A lot of times we're just working in the uh, in the params of whatever agency or organization we're contracted with. We need to start thinking outside the box and working outside with providers that we may not be contracted with, but that it may be a great fit for a particular family or a particular issue. And it builds knowledge and skills. As I was saying, we can learn from each other. So although someone has been to school for 4 years, 6 years, has a degree, master degree, initials behind their names, they can still learn from this family. It models community involvement and an empowerment for your own children and family. It empowers you as well to empower someone else. It creates less passive receptive of care and services. When you're working with families and you're partnering with parents, they're more or less likely not to share with you what they really, really want to share or what they really, really want to say. It makes things better for families. It definitely opens doors to employment, and it creates that sense of belonging. It offers a sense of accomplishment. How great does a parent feel when they have that sense that they helped or they advocated for themselves? It gives them that sense of accomplishment. It raises their self-esteem, and it also increases a sense of personal power. The practitioner or the system doesn't have all the power. I have some of the power. I'm powerful as well. And it offers leadership roles for and models for other families. So these are some of the reasons why it is so very, very important to partner and involve parents and families. We'll keep going with our agenda if don't nobody have anything to add.
I just want to add something for,
Sure.
so I've been with the organization for a while, but when I was attending a long time ago when my kids were smaller and attending Circle of Parents group, when someone would ask me my opinion, that was huge. Whether it was a practitioner or a professional or another parent, when they asked my opinion and what I thought, I don't know, Lisa. It just it surprised me at first.
Gave you a sense of value.
Right.
It gave you a sense of importance for someone to say, well, what do you think? Because what you think matters, what you think is important. And we want to hear that.
Right.
And so that's what it does. It empowers a parent to say, yeah, what I think does matter. And so that's how we can begin to start strengthening families and begin to start empowering parents, because oftentimes they feel like they don't have the power and the practitioner or the system has all the power.
Right.
Yeah. Very, very important.
And once I'm asked or someone is asked, I was more willing to speak up after that. It's like, oh, I've now have a little bit more confidence. Like you said, I've been empowered a little bit. So I was willing to share more. I was willing to speak up more. And it also helped me to ask for the help that I needed. I wasn't able to pinpoint it before that, but then, so attending the circle groups helped me to be able to understand what it was that I needed more of.
Sure.
Isaac, I'm going to unmute you again. Do you want to add to the conversation?
Hello?
Hello.
Oh yeah, yeah, just to reiterate what you both are saying, I think it's really like empowering. And I've also like been had the experience of like involving parents and seeing how they feel and how empowered they feel. So I think it's a very, very useful model and it gives confidence as well. So just basically reiterating what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, confidence.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
confidence. Yep, that's so very important. Yeah, thank you for
And it gives a sense of responsibility as well, I think, because once you feel like someone trusts you enough to even seek your opinion, you feel responsible to make choices that would sort of continue that trend of trust. So I think
yeah,
it's really important. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
gonna mute myself.
Okay.
yeah. Good. That is very important, and I never thought of it, through that lens. And that is, it does give you a sense of responsibility. Great, good. Thank you, guys. Um, since it's just the three of us on the call, I doubt if we'll go the 4 hour and a half. But I did want to talk, about some strategies, because reason why I listed the strategies on the agenda is because oftentimes systems or practitioners don't know how to involve parents in a very meaningful way. So I had wanted to throw out some strategies around, involving parents. And it can be formal, it can be informal, it can be as informal as parents welcoming other parents to the circle of parents group when they come. Standing at the door saying, "Hi, how are you? Hey, how you doing? Oh, hi, hi." It can be informal as that. It can be spontaneous. "Oh, Miss Jones, I'm a little under the weather today. Can you take the lead on, helping facilitate the group today?" It can be something planned. We're going to do a cafe, and I need some parents to host a few tables. We're going to plan to do it in a couple of months. I'm going to give you the information that you need. I need to use some parents or families to be hosts. Short term, long term, paid and volunteer. And when we talk about paid and volunteer, although I have that volunteer on there, I do want to stress to systems and to practitioners to often think as well that generally we're getting paid for the service and parents aren't. So if we can't pay them, at least some type of uh, incentive, um, a gas card, a Target card, Walmart card. Generally, we have some type of funding within our agency, organization, or system that we can tap into. Let's try to tap into some of those resources and funds to help create parent leaders. And I know it's just a couple of us on the line, but we have a couple of things that are coming up. The Parent Recognition Month is coming in February. And then we have Child Abuse Prevention Month coming in April. And I just wanted, everyone, the facilitators from Circle of Parents, and if we had any others joining in, to just think about how will you partner with parents during National Parent Recognition Month? What would you do within your circle groups that's going to stand out to recognize parents for the great work that they do, the leadership work they do, the work that they do in their communities and in their homes? How are we going to recognize them for that within our circle of parents groups? Um, um, and I know MCCC has the Parent Recognition Month, and I know a lot of circle groups are um, nominating parents to receive an award at that parent recognition event. But other than that event, what can we do to partner with parents during February to recognize them for the work that they do? We often say that it's the hardest job that you'll ever love. So, for the hard work that they do, I want you guys to ponder and to think about what we can do to recognize them in February. And then in April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And begin to start brainstorming with your other staff, parents within the Circle of Parents group, and others around outreach. And what can we do specifically to raise awareness of child abuse and neglect in the month of April? So I'd like for you to unmute us, Barb, and let's just brainstorm a little bit around some of the things that we can do. Before you unmute, let me just also note some of the strategies that I did have, and then maybe we can think of some things around family support and families, supporting families. And when we begin to think about some of the strategies on what we want to do within those months, we want to think about working together based on that equality and that respect. We want to enhance families' capacity to support growth for the whole entire family. So we don't want to just think of parents. We want to think holistically, the entire family. And we want to use those parents as resources, right? So let us think about some of the things that we can possibly do, any ideas we can do to help, like I said, recognize parents in the month of February and raise awareness around child abuse prevention and neglect in April. And you can open up, Barb.
Okay. Isaka, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
And let me just say before you jump in, Isaac, let me give Barb just a little bit background about your facilitation, okay?
Oh, okay.
So she's very, very new.
Okay.
She will be the parent group facilitator for the Metro Hopes Redevelop group. So she's going to be facilitating that group starting February the 1st. She's been through the facilitation training for the parents, and she's been through the facilitation training for the children. She has not facilitated a group as of yet, but she helped co-facilitate LifeTrack's group. I believe it was either December or January. January, correct, Isaac?
January, yeah. Yeah, it was January.
She did co-facilitate. So I just put that out there to say, by her being relatively new with facilitating groups, we can maybe give her some ideas too, some things that she can probably do in her group to raise those awareness as well. So.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to do is get the media involved somehow. So I live in a community in southern Minnesota where we have a newspaper, we have a couple radio stations, we have a television station, a couple of them that are close. So I like to go to connect with the people at the newspaper and inform them of what is coming up. So February as an example. And maybe give them some, like Lisa has shown us a couple of handouts, but we have so many more handouts available on our website as well. And there are some of those ideas. Maybe once a week in February, if not every single daily paper throughout the month of February about parent empowerment, parent leadership, parent support groups. It's not just so much uh, advocating or advertising for any circle group or any other group, but it's more of, hey, advertising for parents and the importance of having the parent voice involved in either your organization, your company, your
Mm,
school, your whatever it is,
mm,
having that parent voice there, that parent opinion there, what's what like what Lisa said earlier, what they feel is needed instead of
Mhm.
I think is needed for the parents. You know, how do I know? Um,
But that's so true.
right.
Those are some of the ways that we can promote, Parent Recognition Month.
Mhm.
hmm I think that's a great idea, especially within the Circle of Parents group, like you were saying, once a week in, I mean, every week in February to talk about parent involvement or parent leadership or have something about parent involvement or parent leadership. She'll be starting her group in February, right? So that's something
mm.
that, and
Yeah.
she's talking about, some of the topics or some of the things that she can do within the group. And that's something that she can
Mm,
consider, once a week. Okay, this is
mm,
National Parent Recognition Month. Let's talk about parent
mm,
involvement, parent leadership. I think those are some great
mm.
ideas to invite that parent's voice into the room. What do you think, Isaac?
I think it's a really good idea. I was also thinking of using communities, so like either like religious communities or like just different communities to raise awareness of what is being done. Because sometimes I find that there's a discord between society and people that like it should be merged. It shouldn't be okay. This is parents that have certain like needs or they need support, and this is the rest of everybody else. But it needs to be merged. So creating awareness, and I think something that I saw during the Christmas break that I was quite really empowered by was the Minnesota Teen and Adult Challenge, like hosting a program from the beginning to the end by themselves, like a Christmas concert program. And I thought that was really empowering, having them actually taking charge and hosting the whole program. And you could have that in like different communities where parents come together, think of like ideas of reaching out to communities to let them know that what is available and what is going on, and just allowing them to sort of lead the whole process of organizing, of as raising funds together through fun stuff, through like going to other organizations like churches to let them know what's going on. And I think those kind of things are quite would be quite empowering um for well, if I was in that position, that would be quite empowering that I could actually go out and spread what is going on for me and how it's changing my life. And if there's anyone out there that would benefit from this that may not have access or know how, that this kind of thing is available. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Yes.
babbling a lot. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, you're making perfect sense. And when you said that, that brought me to mind, Barb, our Parent Recognition Month event. In the past, we had the parents from the PLCSP team. We would contract with them, and they would do the program from start to finish. They would organize
Mm,
it, everything. I remember it was a year that I did it when I was on the parent leadership team,
mm,
and we've
mm,
gotten away from that. And I know that's arena thing, but just as she was saying that, that brought me to mind of that. because that was so empowering for me to organize that event from start to finish, right? The catering, the getting the information. I mean, I did a lot of work that year to get Raise Awareness of Parent Recognition Month for that event. And just as she said, it was so empowering because as a parent, you know, I had never been giving that platform to do that, right? And so we've gotten away from that, and maybe that's a conversation that we should have with Rena. Like, you know, when that comes, why not pull in a parent, if not to do it from beginning to end, but to have a hand in organizing it, because this is the first year that a parent has not organized it.
And I think it's also quite useful in terms of like bringing in various skill sets. So sometimes when someone, as a parent, sometimes you feel overwhelmed, and knowing that you're actually good at something. So during the process of organizing an event, organizing a program, there are various skill sets that you can draw through during the process. So someone might be good at like details, someone might be good at, so just playing on the different parents' strengths encourages them, because when you're at home and you've got 4 kids, and it makes you feel a bit overwhelmed and a bit disorganized, but you actually could have the potential to be organized. So in terms of skill sets and empowering and making you feel a bit not crap,
right,
it's quite useful.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe that's a conversation that I'll have my colleagues, as I say, generally and leaders organize that event. Here, I know staff organizing it. I'm not sure if they're utilizing parents for some of their strengths, as you were saying. But that's great. I love that. And so for Child Abuse Prevention Month in April, we usually that's the national that's the month for National Child Abuse Prevention. So MCCC, we do a lot of outreach and a lot of educating and training in that month to raise awareness of child abuse and prevention. And I generally go out to different organizations. I go to libraries. I mean, I'm just out there. And generally it's pretty nice because it's April, so springtime is peeping in, right? So I don't mind being out in the community so much. So I do a lot of outreach during that month. And so again, we want Circle of Parents groups and others to think about, you know, what can we do specifically to raise awareness within that month. Now, I know, Isaaca, you are doing a lot of volunteer work, and I really, really appreciate that. However, for the month of April, if you do anything outside of the Circle of Parents with your group to raise awareness around child abuse and neglect, I'll contract with you, and I'll pay you for your time. So let's say you go out and hang flyers or talk to people at schools around prevention, raising prevention, and let's say you put in 3-4 hours worth of work of doing that. I will stipend you for your time if it's outside of that Circle of Parents group that you're doing with Metro Hope. Okay, Isaac?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it was.
So I can give you some, a few, and Barb can chime in as well, a few things that you can possibly do to help raise awareness within your Circle of Parents group and outside of, oh shucks, what did I do? And outside of your Circle of Parents group, because as I said, since it's National Child Abuse and Prevention Month, we really, really try to get out there and do a lot of outreach and education around prevention. Would you like to add something, Ms. Barb?
Um, sure. What I, all of the places that you were talking about, is anywhere locally throughout the community to get that awareness.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me
There
now?
you go.
Okay. So I agree with you when you said getting as much information, prevention information out there as possible, bringing the awareness to it, but also, uh, so what I'm trying to do with a local collaborative and locally is include more positive parenting ideas, tips, and of course the leadership of that too
Are
automatically.
you talking into your phone, or because we're not hearing you as good as we was?
I'm sorry. I have a new system and it's
There it goes. You're good now.
screwing up. But incorporating more of the positive parenting or positive family values, along with the awareness piece of it, because we don't want to forget uh, that awareness piece of prevention,
Right.
but incorporating more of the positive parenting, supportive family pieces.
I like that because that's more of a positive or strength base, right?
Right.
As opposed to preventing child abuse and neglect. Looking at it as a framework of supporting and strengthening the family. I love that. I love that. That's good. That's real good. So, yes. So when that time comes, Isaaca, we can brainstorm around some things that you can possibly do to help promote that strengthening families model and the supportive family and
Yeah.
positive model.
That'll be helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
Thank you.
mhm. So I was thinking that since it's just the three of us, if we want to just go for the until a little after 1. But I did want to talk about um, our portal on our website. And Isaaca, you may not be familiar with it, so this will be a good time to talk about it. We have a facilitators portal on our website that has a lot of information about the Circle of Parents, different ideas. We have our parenting resource, parenting education resource list on there that I gotta email you as well. And
Lisa,
so I wanted to
Lisa,
make sure I include. Go ahead, Barb.
you want to bring it up on your screen?
Oh, yeah, I could. Huh?
Oh, and I is joining by phone, but bringing it up on the
Oh,
screen, that's okay. So, but bringing it up on the screen so for whoever watches the broadcast at a later time, it would be helpful like, to go to the
okay.
uh, www.pcamn.org. And I, so when you have a chance to uh, get online and go to the website, you should be able to find it.
So when we go onto our website, we go to our programs. And we go to Circle of Parents. You go to Circle of Parents. It has information about Circle of Parents, the meeting locations, and so all the way at the bottom it has facilitator portal. And we click on there. And the password is Circle.
Hi, Lisa.
Yes.
Sorry, I lost you. So you went to, so after going to the program,
Yep.
underneath was the circle of parents,
Yep.
and under the circle of parents,
Go all
you
the way
click on
down
this, right?
where it says Learn More.
Okay, let me see. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure it out here as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, come on.
Now you go back through. So when you go to the Circle of Parents,
I can't seem to. Is it, oh, learn more? Okay, here. Okay, cool. Found it.
you can pay.
And then circle of parents. So, so after circle of parent facilitator portal,
Yep. And
and
then
then
it says password.
yeah,
The password is Circle.
With a capital C.
capital C. Okay. CIRCLE. Yep.
Groups.
Okay.
No space, and with a capital G. So it's circle groups, no space, capital C, capital G.
Capital CIRCLE, capital GROUPS. Circle groups. The
Okay.
C and the C is capital. And then you're in the facilitator portal.
One. So you
Was you able to get in, Isaac?
No, I'm putting the password in, but nothing is happening at the moment.
It's all one word, circle groups.
Yeah. CIRCLEGROUP, capital C, capital G.
And the S,
Enter.
groups. It's plural.
Oh, groups with an S. Sorry. I think that's what it was. Group. Oh yeah, got in.
Okay. So there you have administrative materials. We have the benefits for chartering, incident reports, measure of quality, all of that. Then you got an intro to the parent curriculum resource guide. That's that resource guide that I was introduction to that resource guide. And up under there is that resource guide that I was telling you about. I'm gonna email to you.
Okay.
And then up under there, we have those protective factors that goes into more detail about the protective factors. And we have something about positive discipline there and the different parenting styles. So we have an array of things up under our facilitator portal that we want you, Circle of Parents facilitators, to to go in and take a look at. Did you want to add anything, Barb?
No, I think you covered all of it. Down the bottom of that, there's parent leadership as well.
Yep. And we also have a Facebook page too, Isaac. I'm not sure if you knew or not, but we also have an MCCC Facebook page as well for MCCC and for the Circle of Parents specifically.
Okay. So I'm just trying to find you again so you can carry on. I found this. I'll save this page.
Okay.
Add to favorites. Okay.
All right.
I can't find you now. Oh, Lisa, also, could you please email the presentation notes, if possible?
Which presentation?
She means the handout
This
today.
one,
Oh,
the
yes.
handout, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, I definitely will. Now, before we close, do you have any questions or anything for me, Isaaca?
No, not at the moment. If I do, I'll probably drop you an email.
Okay, that sounds great. What about you, Barb? Did you want to add anything before we close?
I can't think of anything. You, Lisa, have done just a fantastic job. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So much information. You gave us a lot of resources and took us to the facilitator portal. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. I want to thank the both of
Yes.
you for joining the quarterly call, and we'll be sending information about our next quarterly call and what the topic will be. Thank you so much, and I
Yeah.
hope you guys have a great day.
Just an FYI.
Thank you so much. That was really helpful.
Yeah, so glad you joined.
Nice to meet you as well, Bob.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry.
Thank you. This broadcast is being recorded and will be put on our website at pcamn.org within a couple days. So you should be able to find it there. Thank you.
Thank you, and yes, thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.